Okay, so yeah, here we go. Dear participants, I welcome you all to this third session of the day, in which today's expert is going to talk to us about a topic very relevant to the specialization in which this course falls under AICTE thrust areas, design thinking. So the title of the presentation for this session is Design Thinking, and it will be delivered to you by Mr. Rohan More, who is currently working in TCS Bangalore, and he is going to deliver his talk from Bangalore. Currently, he is there. Okay, I must give his brief profile to you. Rohan has graduated from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Lodere in the year 2010. Afterwards, he did some stopgap job, and then he got he did some efforts, and then he is currently a qualified product designer, having completed his master of product design from Center of Product Design and Manufacturing from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in the year 2014. He has been working as a designer and digital sculptor in the automobile sector for more than 6 years. And as he has suggested me to, tell you that, he will be talking during his presentation about problems. So, with this very brief and catchy introduction, I request now Rohan to take over the session. But before that, I must share with you one fact that Rohan was to give his presentation using his laptop, and there was a problem in the laptop at the last moment when I called him for a trial session at 1:30 p.m. today in the afternoon, and then he had to suddenly switch from that system to some other desktop system which does not have a camera in perhaps appropriate conditions. So he will not be able to see him. So we have to you have to all bear with me for this inconvenience, as you cannot see the speaker while he speaks. So with this, I want to request now Rohan More to take over the session. Rohan.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, sir. Yeah, I'll start with my presentation. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, the screen is visible, Rohan, but that's up the beat. You have to click on the appropriate icon. Yeah, it's coming
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Project it fully. Yes, it should come. Yeah.
So usually the afternoon sessions are going quite sleepy. So hello, everyone. You can actually unmute your mics and say hello. So I'll
Hello.
hello, sir.
Yeah.
So usually the afternoon sessions are quite sleepy, and after a lunch and comforts of your home, there are chances that you might wander off with your mobiles and all. So let's keep the session quite interactive. So that's how I'll make sure that you are attentive. So for a while before starting, we'll play a small game. Uh, so let's play a game. Yeah, so this is an equation where x plus 5 equal to 9 and x minus 5 equal to 11. So we have to find the value of x. I'll give you around 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds. And if you can come up with the answer, just let me know.
I am sure the mathematics is not going to work here.
For sure. So we are close to our 30 seconds mark. Okay, anyone who has found the answer? Guys, it's an interactive session. You can say yes or no or something. Okay, let me put down the answer for you. The answer is 4, which is the clock, 4 o'clock. If you minus 5 hours from 4 o'clock, it would give you 9 o'clock. Oh, sorry, it will give you 11 o'clock. And if you add 5 to 4 o'clock, it would give you 9 o'clock. So this is where we think out of the box. There's one more puzzle for you. How many blocks are required to complete the cube? So this is the image. Again, you have 30 seconds. This one is quite easy. Guys, I'm expecting some answers.
You can unmute yourself and answer. Somebody says 20. Somebody said 19. Somebody says 20.
Those are actually wrong answers. Who are
22.
Hello?
22.
No. Okay. We have crossed almost a minute. So the answer is 45. Those who were answering 20 were very close, but one thing they forgot to observe is the number of blocks. At the base, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and subsequently 5 blocks. So to make a cube, we will have to have 5 blocks each. But when you see on the vertical side, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks only. So we'll have to add up that 25 to the number 20, what you had earlier guessed. So the answer would come out to be 45. So this is where observation comes into picture. So as a product designer, these two things you have to keep in mind while doing uh, a design problem or else finding out solutions to your issues or problems. So we'll have one more slide about observation. Okay, so these two images, can you observe them and tell me what problems are in these two images? Hello?
Yeah. You're online, no problem. We can listen to you.
Okay. Actually, I was expecting answers, but are people chatting on the line somewhere?
Yeah, they prefer to chat than speaking on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I get there? Okay, maybe during the interactive session, I'll go on the chats and then I'll come back to the presentation mode then.
Okay. As you
Seat
plan it.
design is not proper.
One seat design के बारे में, somebody said about seat design.
Right. This picture is there, and another one is this picture. So okay, since I'm getting one or two responses are coming, we'll go back to this issue because these are like 4 people. They are on the bike, and the most inconvenient person here would be this baby. But since this baby is held by mom, so it is bit safe. But then what about this kid? All throughout the journey, this kid has to stand, and then I'll show you a solution for this one. So this jugaad solution or frugal innovation, what we call it. So this is one such solution for the earlier problem. Second solution is the generic solution is this one. I still remember my dad having his Chetak and he had a similar seat for me on the bike, on the scooter. So this is quite generic solution and it is very easy to install. The seat is very easy to install. So we'll go back to the other problem. Now this one. So since the lady is leaning on this side, there won't be a much problem to this lady. But if she leans on this side, then she might have some inconvenience. But for sure, this lady is gonna have her neck sprained once she gets home. So we'll see what solution are there to offer. So this is the Jugaad solution now, and this is the generic solution. So basically, Jugaads are done like very smart people can do Jugaad. You have to have that sharp mind to have a solution for that. But Jugaads are not always working because if you see this image, if this would have had been in India, due to the stoppage of trains or applying brake at times, there would be a snap in his neck and maybe he would be get paralyzed or he might die. This is okay, comfortable for this person. So this is quite a generic solution for the earlier problem. So why don't we go for Jugaad? Why Jugaad innovation is smart and not sustainable? Because Jugaad is not scalable. You can't apply Jugaad everywhere. Once the kid which we saw on the scooter, if he grows uh, in his age, in his size, in his height, he won't be able to sit in that small chair that was placed by his mom. It depends on the individual smartness. Yeah, we can find solutions to every problem. Every problem there is a solution, but you have to be smart enough to find that. So when Jugaad is applied, it is applied by some smart individuals. Next is it is a from long term solution it jumps to a short term fix. Again, I'll mention the scooter and the chair. So it is not a long term solution, but when there is a seat that is which was on the on the right hand side of the image, it is quite a long term solution. And yeah, so why and how do we solve problems? So if we go by the definition, problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues. Yeah, Jugaad also gives you the solutions for the issues, but when it comes to a technical problem solving on even a design problem solving, I'll add up to this is by following a systematic approach. So the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues by following a systematic approach is problem solving. So how do one solve a problem? So human mind tends to solve a problem from past experiences. Like if a mixie in my house has broken down, so first I'll go and check if the receptor is okay, if the plugs are okay. So that comes from my past experience. That in older times that would have had happened. So I'll go and check those things first. But solving by habit may cause us to keep trying solutions those are unsuitable for the current task. So if the rotor is broken, I can't just fix it by fixing the plug. Okay, so I'll have to open the mixie to solve that issue. And it refrains from thinking more desirable solutions obtained only by new methodology. The new methodology is open the mixie if mostly when the rotor is broken. You at home it is quite difficult to solve, so you have to take it to the technician to get it solved. So that is a new methodology that comes in there. Hence, a more systematic plan is necessary. So what I'll be presenting today is design thinking, which is one of the problem solving methodology. So we'll go to the next slide, which is design thinking. So what is design thinking? Anyone? Hello? Guys, you have to unmute and you have to talk because I'm not
No
able to.
idea, no idea, sir.
No idea. That is the
They
best
have
response I've got.
they have come to learn that here.
Okay. Okay, so design thinking is basically the methodology to solve the problem. That's what I had mentioned earlier. You could have stated that. Okay, so it is a method to solve a problem, develop products and experiences. So if I have to develop a product, or if I need to have an experience, then design thinking is applied there. Because nowadays, more than a product, people are talking about experience. When you take a Uber, you take Ola, or you do banking services, you get phone call from the customer service. Sir, how was your experience? That is what we get to learn nowadays. So experience is one more thing that is added to design thinking method. Next is, when we are doing a design thinking, for us, the customer or the potential customer, he is of utmost important. uh, so when I'm making something, so if my customer doesn't like it, then it is not a successful product. So a customer should be always kept at the center of any problem, any product design problem that comes along. It is a non-linear process. So for this process, we'll have to go to the stages of design thinking. Then I'll be able to tell you why it is a non-linear process. So we'll go to the 5 stages of design thinking, how design thinking works. So the stage one is empathy. So don't get confused between empathy and sympathy. So sympathy is you give someone when he's down. Empathy is basically getting to know or getting to learn about the other individual, how he is feeling, how he is reacting. That is what empathy is. So at first stage, okay, more detailed about these stages we'll go and we'll learn in subsequent slides. Then second stage is define. So once you get to know what the problem is from your potential customer, from the people you're designing product for, you'll have to define that problem. So once you define the problem, then only you will be able to solve it. So second stage is define. Now we go to the third stage, which is ideate. So once you get a problem, it's not like हाँ अभी problem मिल गया, I'll get the solution quite easily. It, it never happens that way, at least not in product design, because you have to develop, you have to ideate on that. Many technical things in, suppose if it is a maths problem, then you can find a solution quite easily. But as we saw few slides earlier, even that math equation, we had to think out of the box. We have had to have some idea to how to solve that issue. So ideation is a process which will give me, which will take me closer to the solution. The next one is prototyping. So in prototyping, once you have ideated the solutions, that these 2 or 3 solutions I've kept in mind that I'll uh, go forward with. So you have to make a model out of them. You have to make a prototype of it. So, excuse me. So in physical, it is quite easy. If you are working, if you are into furniture manufacturing or something, you have to make the models quite easy. Same thing applies to mobile applications. So usually the prototypes are made, I think, on papers. So every screen that you see on the mobile, once you swipe around, so that each and every screen is made on paper and then it is taken ahead. So once that is done, once our prototype is ready, we need to test it. So testing stage comes in. So if without testing, if we go ahead, there might be some issues like what happened some time ago. I was planning to present from my laptop and then it didn't work. I had to go to other system and then do the connection and all. So testing is necessary before every launch. So once testing is okay, then only we go for the launch of the product, or else we'll go back to ideate, we'll again prototype what our ideas and the solutions are, and again testing. So this is a cyclic process that happens after stage 5 again to 3. And sometimes if you are very unlucky, you will have to redefine your problem. So That's why I had mentioned earlier, it is not a linear process. So we'll go into a deep dive about all these stages. Let's go to first, which is empathy. So empathy, as I had mentioned, we have to feel the other individual. We have to talk to him and know what his issues are regarding the problem. So empathy, in empathy, the problem is understood through user's perspective. Um, for example, the problem for me won't be a problem for someone else. Uh, to tell you a story, so there is a riddle that I have read recently. There is a guy while going, he lives on the 15th floor, and while going down, he directly comes on the 0th or ground floor. But while going up, he usually goes to the 11th floor and then goes by the stairs and goes to his flat. So he has to climb 4 floors. So that was a riddle that I was going through. And solution, if you hear what the why is the riddle like this, the guy is a short guy whose height is very small and he can barely touch the 11th button of the escalator elevator. So he goes to the 11th floor and then he climbs the other 4 floors. So you have to understand the problem through the user's perspective, that the buttons of the lift are not problem for me, but for that person they are. So solution is developed on empathetic understanding and users need. So when the user, whatever needs are defined by the users, will have the problems or the solutions according to them. You can't just give whatever solution you have with you and ask the customer to abide by it. That used to happen earlier, but not now. कि आपको जो भी दिया, you take it and you go. It's not like that now. Now customer is God. So assumptions are set aside while developing the solutions. So usually what happens when a customer says something, if you ask for the problems, they tend to say many things they'll say. So in the back of the mind you start making assumptions, हाँ ये ऐसा होगा, ये वैसा होगा, वैसा होगा. No, never do that. Always think about what he's saying. Just listen. Listening is the key while developing a solution. So listening is the key. So you have to listen what he's saying, what he actually means, and then only you can go forward toward your solution. So how do interact with the customer? Can you see this icon? Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can.
Yes, because on my screen it is showing stop sharing.
Rohan, maybe that stop sharing thing you can drag and put it above so that it doesn't obstruct our view. Yeah,
Okay,
done. Great.
okay. So interactions with the customer. So mainly whenever, as I said, you have to have empathy towards your customer. So these customers are not the actual customers; they can be potential customers. So you have to know the problems, what they really feel about the thing. So how do you get to know what their issues are? The one and only thing you know is talk, communicate. That is one. So we'll check in what are the means to communicate and interact with the customer. First one is interview. So whenever you are interviewing a customer for any problem, so always make sure you are very specifically asking questions. You can't go vague on what they want, because for example, when 500 note was introduced, people were going bazaar. They were saying like 500 की नोट में चिप है, उसमें GPS tracker है, and all that stuff were coming out. So that comes when you don't listen to what they are saying, or when you don't go out with specific questions to them. For instance, okay, that example we'll be taking forward. I'll talk about something else. When you if you are traveling by a cab, so usually when you talk to the driver, you need to ask them how much time they are spending on the driver's seat, how much time they are driving, are they getting any rests? That would come when you are designing seats for the Uber drivers. But if you go and check, हाँ भैया कैसा चल रहा है, अच्छा है, आप कितना टाइम चला लेते हैं, हाँ भैया हो जाता है, इतना टाइम खाते हैं सोते हैं, and all that. Vague things would come out if you go and don't ask specific questions. If you ask specific questions to them, they'll give you specific and definite answers. So that's how is the technique for interview. Next one is survey. So when you go to malls or some public places, you could see people having pamphlet with them, and mostly happens during the places where it is a supermarket. People would be standing outside. If they have launched any product in the supermarket, they'll stand outside and they'll ask your feedback about did you like this product and all. The questions would come out. Excuse me. So they are taking a survey. But if they are trying to develop few things, then also survey comes in picture. So if someone is launching or redesigning some mobile or a car per se, usually surveys are done that did you like the older version, what did you not like in that version, and then they'll try to incorporate that. Those are done with survey. Next one is customer services. Usually, since mobile has been part and parcel of human life, we have been getting customer service calls day in and day out. They'll talk to you about certain things. If they are from banking professional, they'll ask you, did you like the services and all. This is all how they interact with the customers to get to know what their issues are. Mostly people would just say, I'm busy, I'll talk to you later. See, because right now the market is quite huge for them. When they are doing customer service, the market is quite huge. So if one or two person they are not replying, they that won't create a problem to them. But when the market is very small, and when the customer service executive they ask about something special, right now if I'm using Act Internet, which I don't think is available in Bombay. So when they ask me that do you want this internet services any other place if you are moving there, then I'll definitely say yes. So they'll think about it and they'll try to launch the service in Mumbai. So that's how customer service acts. Next is rating. So rating usually happens when we have used certain product, we have used certain experiences. So one like biggest example is the Ola Uber. Once you have done with the ride, you are asked to rate. So there the rating comes in. And final is the role play. When all these things, one, two, three, four things fail, we usually go for the role play, because when our market is very small, we are not able to get in touch with the customers. We go for a role play where one would play a customer and other would play a design executive to ask him questions, and some knowledge of whatever is happening, he'll give the answers, and that would lead to some information or input or data for the problem solving. Okay, this is a small video I need to share. I'll preferably go to the other window, I think, because this link is not working for me. Just let me know if you can see. Yeah.
We can see.
हाँ वो तो बहुत चांगला, बहुत अच्छा आदमी है। वो भी बता रहे थे कि आप एक बहुत ही दरिया दिल इंसान है जो दूसरों का दर्द समझते हैं। अच्छा बोलो तुम्हारी समस्या क्या है, बोल। जी मेरा नाम श्याम है। हाँ तो ये तुम्हारा समस्या है। हाँ तो नाम बदल डालो, उसमें गांव से इधर आने की क्या जरूरत है? मैं गांव से यहाँ नौकरी के चक्कर में आया। क्या? अरे बाबा इधर कोई नौकरी नहीं। जी दरअसल नौकरी मेरी समस्या नहीं है, मेरे पास रहने के लिए। बाबा तुम पहले नक्की करो तुम्हारा समस्या क्या है। नाम, नौकरी की घर। ठीक घर। घर एक काम करो, ये सड़क पे राइट में चले जाओ, वहाँ बहुत सारी होटल है, जाओ। लेकिन मेरे पास इतने पैसे तो नहीं है। देखा, फिर तुमने समस्या बदल डाली। कुछ दिनों के लिए रहने दीजिए, आप तो दरिया दिल इंसान है। और दिल दरिया, बाकी सब समंदर है, ये मेरी समस्या है। मैं आपकी समस्या और नहीं बढ़ाऊं।
Hope the audio. Hope the
Yes,
audio was audible.
yes, it was already audible, no problem.
Okay, so there we couldn't find, like, in such a movie there would be a customer interaction session that would be happening where Paresh Rawal is asking teri samasya kya hai, what is your problem, and then customer, who is Sunil Shetty, he starts giving answer, and then the for product designer, who is Paresh Rawal in this case, he becomes quite judgmental on what his problems are. So he starts giving solution. Acha, theek hai. If naam samasya hai, then do it somewhere else, and everything is happening there. So there, customer is giving vague issues are coming up. We are not quite specific what they want, and then we become judgmental on giving the solutions. So moving on to the next. So few things to keep in mind while being empathetic towards your customer or potential customer. First one, who is your customer? So while designing any product, you have to keep in mind who your customer is. So if I am designing, what do you say, a two-wheeler or a scooty, so I need to know who will be driving it, who will be riding it. So I need to know who my customer is. Is your product gender neutral? So if I say mobile phone, it is quite gender neutral. So you need not to be a woman or a man to buy a mobile phone. It is not gender specific. But when it comes to clothings, when it comes to bags, in case of sanitary pads which women use, it is gender specific, quite gender specific. So there you have to talk to those customers. You can't go and talk to the other gender and ask issues about that product. You won't get any answers. So always keep in mind how your product is. Is it a multiple users? For example, the doormats, multiple users. One person won't scrape his legs and go around carrying the doormat. So you have to keep in mind who all will be using that thing. Next is specific things like age group, socioeconomic status, and behavioral pattern. So once you, if I take example of two things, one is a walker, one is a stroller. Both are same thing, one and the same thing, but one is used by aged people, one is used by kids to walk. So you have to be specific of what age group you are designing for. So if you give the stroller to an aged person, he won't be able to use it. Socioeconomic status. For example, earlier when the mobiles were not in a huge demand in the market, when Chinese company didn't step in the mobile uh, industry more often, then usually the mobile phones were carried by very few. Uh, but nowadays, everyone is carrying a mobile. So socio-economic status doesn't come there. But then when the brands come and the pricing comes, they are. If you are using an iPhone X, for example, your bhajiwala won't be using an iPhone X. He'll be using a Samsung per se or a Redmi. So that is a socio-economic status. But both the products are same, both have certain different specifications. Those are designed according to the status or the strata people are planning for, and behavioral patterns. When is the person using it, where he is using, those are the behavioral patterns. So let's have a role play, because we don't have uh, customers around to talk about this. I want everyone to unmute, and if you can give me some issues, if I'm trying to design a mobile phone for elderly, so what all things. So I'll just jolt down whatever you are saying. If I give my am I audible?
Yes, Rohan, you are audible. Participants, you can give your inputs to what Rohan is asking. Rohan, it is likely to fall down maybe more often. So maybe it has to be more sturdy.
Okay, sturdy. Oh, sturdy is one thing. Next, any other quality you want in the
Speech recognition.
speech recognition? Any other thing? Just think that you are an old person who is using your handset, which you have right now. It would be a touchscreen phone. And
Louder
think about,
voice.
yeah, louder voice.
People are writing in the text box. I am reading. Okay.
Okay,
Then
okay, okay.
larger font size.
Larger font size.
Yeah, please continue. You were saying something.
Cameras.
I'm sorry, camera.
Non-touch screen, some people are saying. Pen facility should be there.
Which facility? 10.
Pen, P and pen.
Pen.
Yeah, for writing we use it now. Pen. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Smoothness with graphics. Many suggestions. Good. Easy screen sharing.
Editing photos.
Editing photos.
Photo calling should be there, they say, instead of number calling.
Okay, okay. I'll insert one
That's
more.
a good suggestion. Yeah.
Right.
Games like Candy Crush should be there. I think, you have to be more serious, I think. Better text entry option.
That's what I'm facing now. Better.
Seeing movies also.
Yes, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me write it down.
Battery backup should be bigger.
Okay. Photo sharing.
Shouldn't be slim, is sturdy.
Someone was mentioning one more thing.
Somebody said that it should not be very slim, but then I think sturdy will cover that.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, water resistant.
Yeah.
Light on off.
Light and on-off service using gestures. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we'll park few of these issues and okay, we'll move on to one more empathy role play that we'll be doing. But here, right. So these are few suggestions that have come up from the elderlies, which I'm presenting right now. We are role playing that. Okay, so sturdy speech recognition, louder voice, large font size, non-touch screen, pen facility, smoothness with graphics, easy screen sharing, photo editing, photo calling. I think I did it sharing. Water resistant, light on and off service. Okay, so we'll do one more and then we'll come back to this one. So tracking device for kids. As I was a kid when I was younger, when I was small, my mom need not to track me. If I'm going outside my locality, someone would call and tell mom ki Rohan is somewhere roaming outside, which is not the case right now. So we need to have a tracking device for kids. So we'll have a role play, and then you can give me suggestions what all things need to be on that device.
Rohan, I think you repeat it once so that you have more response. GPS, Google
Okay.
Map,
GPS, Google Map.
sensors.
So yeah, I'll repeat once again because nowadays kids' safety is on the topmost uh, list of every parent. So tracking devices, we are planning to develop a tracking device if this is a problem for me for kids. So what all things I'll have to have in that tracking device? So yeah, with GPS, Google Map, sensors,
Easy fixing on the body of the kid.
easy fixing. Yeah.
Every hour location message on parent's phone. Maybe an hour is too big, I think. Oh, alerts to parents when kids are in dangerous areas.
Wow, wow, that is
Yeah,
actually a
that's
good suggestion.
you may provide a camera if possible, so that we can also see what they are doing. Automatic emergency contact dialing.
Video calls.
Yeah, video calls. Smart watch. Looks like it has stopped.
Okay,
Smart
okay.
bangles or band, somebody is saying. Smart bangles or band. So it's like, watch in the form of a bangle or a band or something.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, okay, so we'll stop here for this one. Again, going back to mobile phones for elderly. So we have to think like an aged person. Whenever we are using the touchscreen phones, most of the issue is accidental touch sensors are there on the phone. Whenever uh, if by accident you touch the phone, they'll give you a beep message that an accidental touch is there. You want to continue, or you can drag it off. So as an elderly person, there are high chances that if I'm using a smartphone which is of touch screen, because a shiver is there in their hands or something, there is a chance that they'll be touching it continuously somewhere. While calling, yeah, photo calling is a good option. Then one more thing I'll have to add here would be if it is having larger buttons, if it is a button phone, quite easy for them to touch the buttons and dial the number. If not, if photo calling is not there, water resistant, good. Non-touch screen, that's what I just mentioned. Pen facility, writing on the phone, I don't know if that would be a possible thing for them. Smoothness with graphics. Mm, I'm just thinking loud. Easy screen sharing, yeah, screen screen sharing or calling. I think it is sharing. So we have to think like an old person to get on to whatever needs are there. So as I had mentioned that role playing doesn't work all the time. So you have to be in the crowd with the customer to know their issues. Same thing that happens here. So tracking uh, device for kids. Basically, two things to getting know from this one is the device is there are two users of the device or the two parts that would be coming. One would be with the kid, one would be with the parent. So the multiple user thing that I had mentioned there. So when it is a kid, so you have two users here to think about. So when it is multiple users, you have to think from both the sides. As a kid, I won't like to have a big band or something that is on my hand which is heavy or something. I won't like that. If I had to have that bangles, yeah, girls can wear those. Guys, an issue with them. Smartwatch, it is one more thing. Again, physical things are there. Uh, we didn't think about any chip that would be fixed. One is easy fixing on the body of the kid. Why body of only the kid? It can be used to fix even to your spouses. So you can track where your husband is going, telling that is going to work and all. Sensors, yeah. Google Map. I don't know how much the kid would be using the maps to come home because he'll be roaming around in the locality itself. Camera, good option. Uh, One more thing, if we need to think out of the box. If you had seen the Black Panther, they had bids which was there. When you just touch them, a holographic screen comes up. So the kid needs not to touch there, but when a parent sees that the kid is moving out of the locality or he's going in some area, that holographic screen can come up and mom can shout on the kid. That can happen. We are actually thinking about the problems that can be solved like quite easily. We need to think about the future. In coming 2-3 years, things are possible. Yeah, they are quite possible. So going back to stage 2, which is define. So we need to define the problem. So defining a problem. Definition is a clear, precise statement of the problem. So what I had given earlier were two things which were specific definitions for the problem. Unless and until without that, we won't be able to find the problem. Someone would say vague things would come up that would lead to that issue. If like for the first one, phones for elderly, or okay, we'll take the example of the second one. Uh, so tracking device for the kids. One problem parent might come up with, I can't find my kid around in the location. That is one problem they can give. One problem will come that kid has wandered off and we can't look for him. Many different things would come up, but at the end you have to have a specific definition of the problem, so you go for the product. So if it would have been a tracking device, if I would have said I want a band for the kids, yeah, a band is there. But then if I say a tracking device, then we start thinking, oh, apart from band, what else can be used? Bids is there, a tracking device is there on the cloth or something. So we have to be precise and clear about the statement of the problem. So problem is divided into different parts. So whenever the problem statement is given, it should be divided into different parts. So then only you will be able to clearly think about the solution. So each part is clearly defined by synthesizing and analyzing the data. Whatever data you get from talking to the customer, from interacting, from the empathizing with them, you'll get data that would be very vague. So you'll have to concise it, analyze the data, structure it properly to get a perfect definition for your problem. And that would help in deciding the functionalities you need to develop in that. So So once you say that I want these things, we'll go ahead with someone mentioned camera. So there you can also talk about camera. Holographic camera can come. Camera can be a bigger thing, but then display would be an issue. So functionalities to put into the device would come when you define the problem. So few things to keep in mind. So problem properly defined is virtually solved. Whatever problem you define, half of the solution would be in that itself. So you have to divide your define your problem crisp. Should highlight every essential aspect of the problem. So whenever we are trying to define a problem, it should take into consideration all the essential aspects. Many things would come up, but what are the important aspects of that problem we need to take into consideration. Should exclude extraneous irrelevant details. I don't find an example right now. So whenever if you're talking, I was like talking to an elder lady about when I was designing a walking stick for her, like in my college days. So I went, I asked, दादी आपको क्या क्या इशू आता है walking stick का? So she's like, मेरे को मिलता नहीं है, ये इधर उधर गिर जाता है, and all those stuffs. Whether if I have to put more weight on the stick to make it stabilize, these are issues which is faced by them. But then you have to pull apart the irrelevant things from the issue, so you can get to define the problem. Next is examine whether the problem is immediate or is a part of a larger problem. Most of the times while driving, the car breaks, like on the middle of the journey the car breaks down. So you don't know, your immediate problem is the car has stopped. I don't know what it is. If it is a flat tire, easy fix, you can easily do it. That is an immediate problem for you, and you have the immediate solution for it. But then there's a smoke that is coming out from the engine and you don't know what is the issue. Then there is a larger problem that is hiding behind this immediate problem. So that is where you have to take care. Is there an issue with the radiator? Is there an issue with the plugs and everything? Okay, so story time. So I'll read out this story, which is a classic example in the automobile sector given all the time while doing the problem solving sessions. So my car doesn't like vanilla ice cream. Guys, give me a minute, right? Hello guys. Sorry, I went to fetch some water for myself. Okay, so I'll just read out if you haven't read this yet. So the customer is writing a letter. This is the second time I have written you, and I don't blame you for not answering me because I kind of sounded weird. But it is the fact that we have a tradition in our family of ice cream for desserts after dinner each night. But the kind of ice cream varies so every night. After even we have eaten, the whole family votes on which kind of ice cream we should have, and I drive down to the store to get it. It's also the fact that I recently purchased one of your automobiles, and since then my trips at the store have created a problem. You see, every time I buy vanilla ice cream, when I start back from the store, my car won't start, sorry. If I get any other kind of ice cream, the car starts just fine. I want you to know I'm serious about this question, no matter how silly it sounds. What is there about this car which makes it not start when I get vanilla ice cream and easy to start whenever I'm getting some other kind of ice cream? So first of all, let me tell you, this is not related to paranormal activities. So yeah, so when this family it goes to get vanilla ice cream uh, after dinner, the car doesn't start, and this is the real incident that has happened. And when they are trying out some other flavors, the car starts. So can anybody tell me what the issue might be? Maybe I'll just write it down. Yes, guys, I'm waiting for your responses.
A difficult question, maybe. No response as of now. Appearance of car.
Appearance of the car. Okay, just think about like if you are going on, if you are that person that you are going to the ice cream store and you are getting vanilla ice cream, then the car doesn't stop. But when you go and get other flavor, the car starts. So what the issue might be? Is it the ice cream flavor? No, it is not.
Somebody has written here something, the shop road where they get the ice cream having some problem.
Okay.
The next suggestion is taste. Third one is distance of freezer containing vanilla ice cream. Customers don't like simple, simple color and design.
Okay. Just so this, okay, I'll give you the answer what has happened actually there. So, so this is a true story with a GM vehicle, and because when you get a letter as an executive of a company, when someone tells me that my car won't stop when I'm eating vanilla ice cream, and then it starts when I'm eating other ice cream, I won't take it seriously. I'll tell what this guy is blabbering. So, but when a letter comes second time of the same thing, and they'll say that car has an issue, you have to check it, then you have to think of the problem very seriously. So a design executive or a executive was sent around to this customer to his address, and first hand he saw what is happening. So when they went out after the dinner, the car actually didn't start when the vanilla ice cream was ordered. The next day they went and they got strawberry flavor, the car started. The other day they went and they got the chocolate flavor, the car started. Fourth day they again went for the vanilla ice cream, the car didn't start. So for someone who is from a product design area, he'll think what is the issue. Okay, so you have to write down the thing. So what is not a issue is the ice cream flavor. Yeah, because car won't be affected by the flavor of the ice cream, of course. So ice cream is not an issue. So issue is main the car. So when it happens, whenever they are going in the night to get the ice cream. So they mentioned that is happening after the dinner. And where does it happen? At the ice cream store. So when these two things are quite fixed, like car and the time, what other thing is varying is the ice cream store. So the designer he went and checked the layout of the store. So when the layout was checked, the vanilla uh, like in the store where the vanilla was kept, it is not like a small Baskin Robbins shop where things are kept. It was quite a big store. like a supermarket. So they had different sections where different flavors were offered. So it is a drive-through that goes around and you have to take the ice creams. So in there, the vanillas, like the section was at the exit point itself, which was very near. So once this person goes to there, he stops the car and goes and gets the vanilla, the car won't stop. The other sections, they were quite placed far. So he had to go there, take the ice cream, come back, and then he had to go back. So main problem was of the vapor lock. So in European countries, it snows. So they have a vapor lock in the car that would actually heat up the engine before it starts. So once the vanilla section was very close by, so it didn't have much time for the vapor lock to what you can say in simple language to start the engine. I'm I'm explaining in very simple language too. So there was the issue with the vapor lock. It was not with the ice cream. It was not with the time. It was with the vapor lock, and that was found from the distance, like someone had mentioned. Uh, vanilla ice cream. Someone had mentioned, right, sir, about the distance,
Yes, somebody said that.
right? So, so, so from the distance, it was deduced that there is an issue with the vapor lock.
Distance of freezer containing vanilla ice cream. That's what
Yeah,
he wrote.
distance. Yeah, distance of freezer containing vanilla ice cream. Right. So kudos to one who had mentioned that.
It is
So,
none other than your senior, Mr. Sunil Pansare.
oh, okay,
Yes, he is one of the participants.
okay. Hello, Sunil.
Hi. Hi, Rohan.
Hi. Okay, getting back to the.
Yeah, I've heard this story previously.
Okay, it is actually a classic example that is given in most of the automobile industries about uh, problem solving. So I thought I'll mention it here. Okay, coming back to the presentation now. So yeah. So to understand the nature of the problem, what we need to do. First, we know what it is that has a problem. So initially when the letter came, it was saying vanilla ice cream, but when the designer actually went there and he got to know that there is no issue with the vanilla ice cream, it is with the distance per se. Now it is with the car, which is the vapor lock. Second is where the problem is observed. So problem was observed in the night and at the ice cream store. I'm just quoting the example what I had mentioned for that, but in certain cases the problem would be somewhere else for sure. And finally, we know when the problem is observed. So when it was during the night time. So this would help you to understand the problem, and that would help you to define the problem properly. And when you define the problem and someone asks you what is the problem, you need to have a specific answer for that problem. It shouldn't be like this guy Karthik Aryani who was blabbering about what is the problem in Pyar Ka Panchnama for like 1 minute and he got famous. So we need to define the problem. So that is solution neutral problem statement. So in this problem statement, as these are two parts, one is problem statement, another is solution neutral. So our problem statement shouldn't state about the solution. So when you don't state about the solution, you have an opportunity to think about the problem in certain way. Like in case of the tracking device for kids, if I had specified that I want a band for the kids, then that is a solution per se I had given for the problem. So people wouldn't have had thought about outside the band. They would have thought about the band itself, nothing else. So the statement just mentioned four, five words. a tracking device for the kids. So that is solution neutral problem statement. That's how it is stated. So in this, you eliminate personal preferences that, as I mentioned, when the customer says, if I am the customer, I'll say I need a uh, band that would track my kids. So there is a personal preference that is given there, that he needs a band. But when you are designing for a community, it is no personal choices that would come in. Next is omit requirement that have no direct bearing on the functions. Like for the ice cream, uh, vanilla ice cream example, the ice cream didn't have any direct what you say relation with the issue. So you have to omit that. And finally, it went on to the car. Transform qualitative into quantitative data. So whatever he had mentioned, like when the design customer had mentioned things are not working, blah 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 blah. It was the data was concised in three questions: when, how, what. So that is the quantitative data you have to keep in. Then formulate or define problem in the solution neutral terms. That's what I had mentioned earlier. What problem neutral statement means. So once now we have defined the problem, we need to ideate and find out the solutions. So we can't just keep the problem aside, problem hai, and he won't be a product designer if you just go and carry on with the problem. Just give me a minute, guys. So ideation process. So how ideation helps? Like it is an initiative towards the solution. Now we have seen what the problem is. We have to go towards the solution. So ideation would help you to go closer to the solution. In case unusual ideas are welcomed, like as I had mentioned earlier, we give humans tend to give solutions from their experiences. They won't think something out of the box for that. So unusual ideas would come only when you think out of the box, and then only new innovation would happen. Other than that, it won't. If you go and tell the same thing that you have seen in the past, same thing would come out. There would be no innovation there. Questions are asked that would lead to the core of the problem, like three questions what I had mentioned earlier. They led us to the core of the problem. So you have to keep asking questions while doing the ideation or concept design. In case of products, you have to have that questioning. If this thing doesn't work, then what should be added there? So a few things to keep in mind. Don't jump on into conclusion based on single idea. Let the ideas come from different sources. So usually when a team is formed into product designing, there are many there are people from different faculties, from production, from manufacturing, from design, and many other. So when a problem is seen from a fresh perspective, things go differently. If there are two professors, one is teaching maths, one is teaching physics, if you give them an equation, the maths teacher would go for an equation of a parallel line. Someone would go for an equation, if the physics teacher is there, he'll go for some quantum theory, I don't know. So every problem, if we get ideas from different sources, then it is quite easy to ideate, and it is quite easy to formulate the ideas and formulate the concepts. And in that, you need not to jump on conclusions, like in the video we saw, where Paresh Rawal's character Babu Rao, when Sunil Shetty, he says कि घर नहीं है, so he jumps to the conclusion, अच्छा सामने मिलेगा. And he said पैसा नहीं है. He said you change the problem. Then he said नौकरी नहीं है. अच्छा तो नौकरी के लिए इधर क्यों आया? But then he was jumping on the conclusion. Whatever things were coming, he was jumping there. That is in case of the empathy. But similar things would happen when you are ideating. That if someone suggests a problem, there would be someone who will be telling that no, this might not work, this might not work. Whenever there is a problem, always accept and always be open to whatever ideas are coming. Don't jump to conclusions. Support different members of the team and help them build ideas and solutions. So once if someone starts poking that no, this idea won't work, this idea won't work, once the person will say, twice he will say. But when someone is overpowering that all the ideas are going vague or something, that person won't participate in the idea giving session. And then you would have one brain less that might have that idea which would give you a solution. So always support different members from the team. So technique of idea generation. So how do we generate ideas? So mostly you can't just tell I have an issue and I need ideas. It should be a systematic way where it would go. So few idea generation techniques that I am mentioning. First one is brainstorming. It is most of the situation, most of the industries use this technique where 5 to 15 people are kept in a room, a session for 45 50 minutes, 1 hour it would go, and then they'll give out, when problem is stated, they'll give out solutions. Like the thing we did right now, that was kind of brainstorming session for us, right? So when I had asked that we are planning for tracking device for kids, people came out with ideas. When we said we want phones for elderly, people came out with ideas. So this types of session happens, which is brainstorming sessions, and the ideas are given without inhibitions. Like someone mentioned about photo, I think photo calling. No one would have thought, but however vague it sounded, it would have, it can help out to develop the solution for this. All ideas are recorded and displayed. Like what I did, I just recorded, I was writing down, so similar ideas won't pop up. And the wilder the idea, the better it is. So once it is like moving out of the comfort zone, giving the ideas, then again taking back the idea into the system and then finding the solution, that might help it there. For example, I don't know, now the phones, they don't have a snap system that would open up and the batteries can be taken out. If I tell you where it came from, it was the cars. No one would have thought that. The dashboard where you keep the glove box, the same snapping system is there. That was used in the mobile phones to take out the batteries, which for sure, which was in the earlier phones. Now the batteries are integrated in the phones. So those two ideas, they came in together. Someone would have told that car may I had seen something. Can we incorporate it? If someone would have stopped him that no, that is a car issue. It is not the mobile. Then it wouldn't have had made it. Second one is synectics. So in this one, we usually have analogical reasoning for the idea, and we keep like what I can say. We start adding logics to there, and a chain is formed that would give you this solution. So in that, if I say this happens usually in the later stages when things are quite fixed, and then you have to find more solutions to that. Then this would happen. Like uh, no one would have thought of using a like gripper pen. That was thing. So if problem statement came that my fingers are aching while writing, so okay, someone would say if you can change the grip of the pen, if you can change the pen itself, if you can change the material of the pen. I think after cello gripper, that idea was very sportingly taken, and different pens were introduced with a softer plastic material which won't require a grip. So analysis, pros and cons were made there, and then ideas were given. Trigger word. This is what we did some time ago when the trigger word was elderly. So people came in talking about things like elderlies, what are the issues with them. So trigger words uh, would Trigger. Actually, trigger words would trigger you to new ideas. Suppose if an object has to move from A position to B position. Okay, these are two positions. So what is the word that can come in for that? So movement is one, crawl is another, walk is another, jump is another, fly is another. There are many words that can take this object from destination 1 to destination 2, and the means of transport can be different. So when the trigger word comes, synonyms are provided like walk, crawl, jump, run, etc. And devices related to the synonyms are put forth. Walk, okay, walking, shoes. Jumping, hops are there. The standing and moving, scooty. Uh, Not the scooter, but the scooter used by the kids. It's there. So trigger words would define, would give forth different devices wherein you can use them to find out a solution or generate an idea. Next one is the checklist. Whenever an idea generation session comes up, checklist is there in this kind of idea generation technique, wherein all the things are marked. Like I want this A, B, C, D, these 3, 4 things are there. I want them. So how can an idea be generated with having all these things? So 5 different functions would help you to generate 5 different ideas if you can combine them to make a different product. Checklist helps. So these 4 are there. I think yeah, for the time, I thought of conducting a live brainstorming session for the earlier issue, but then we'll skip it for now because we have had discussed many things about that. Okay, so how do we evaluate and come to a decision, right? I have 3 ideas, A, B, C. So this one we had used while making a chair for students. Usually in many places, the study chairs come up. So these 3 ideas are there, and you have to rank them according to what or the functionalities that were given. So one, comfort is there, adjustment mechanism is there, fit to interior is there. These are given by the customers, and on top of that you add your own, that is cost. Cost is the main thing. Everything comes to cost. Like sasta milega kuch to discount milega is one thing that Indians asked. So cost, the product should be cost effective. Weight, yeah, they can ask for a recliner to be set in the classroom, but yeah, weight is there, and then it can't fit the interior. It is a classroom, a recliner won't help there. So you have to give rankings according to whatever it is. So for product A, concept A, the cost is 3,000, comfort is like 3 stars out of 5, weight is 10 kg, adjustment mechanism is not there, and fits with the classroom interior, yeah, reasonably okay. Average life it is go for is 4 years. For B, the cost is minimum, but the comfort is also minimum. The weight is more, adjustment mechanism is not there. Does it fit with the interior? No, it won't. And average life is 7. And for C, cost is a bit on the higher side. Comfort is max. Weight is more. Then adjusting mechanism is more. Yes, it is there. Then does it fit with the interior? Yes. And average life is okay. It is average, like not too high, not too low. So there you have to evaluate and take the decision on what should we go ahead with in making the prototype. So ranking method is one such method. There are many methods that would come in. One is quality metrics that is there, and many such things are there. So for the simplicity to explain here, I've just taken ranking method for now. So we have to make the prototype. Now the idea is there, and how do we make the prototype? Which is the 4th stage. If you have everything on your mind, like For example, if you're writing a question exam, everything is in your mind. If you don't produce it on the paper, if the evaluator doesn't read it, is not satisfied with the answers, then you won't get marks, you won't pass. So prototyping is needed in that case. Ideas can't be in your head and they can't be made into products like that. Prototypes are meant to be there. We'll get into details of what prototype is. How is prototyping at? So prototyping is bringing your ideas and concepts to life. If your ideas are in your brains, in your mind, and they are never there for someone to see, they are not, because at the in present age, if you have something in front, if it is physically seen, then it is understood, then it is appreciated. So next statement says to make others understand your idea. So in prototyping, it can be a sketch. Yeah, it can be a sketch. You have to draw a layout of a building, and you mentioned that yeah, for per se, if you are giving some directions to someone, acha, you take this, take right, go to certain point, take there would be something, then you take left and go to certain point, there would be something, and you will reach your destination. You tell them, I don't think so they'll be able to know. They'll still ask you for the points. At what junction should I take a turn? At what shop should I take a turn? Or where should I stop? So if that came into reality where the Google Maps that helped. So that was a prototype. Now a product that has helped in finding directions. To make inferences based on it. So once the prototype is made, you'll test them and you'll finalize on to go ahead with that or not. So inferences are made there. And few things to keep in mind while making prototype. Start building. So if you have an idea on your mind, start building on it. Once you have finalized on it, it is never that you will make the prototype and that would be selected. Okay, so start building on it. You have very less time to develop a product. And I'm very serious on that because uh, you don't know. Like, for example, Kodak was making cameras. It was making film reels. They didn't think on developing on that. And now I don't see people using film cameras. They are using DSLR. And per se, if not DSLR, we have phones. Phones have the camera system, and DSLRs are used by mostly professionals. But then, if they would have a thought, if we can change to some other system of taking photographs, and they would have had made the models, maybe the story would have been different. Which is which Nokia is doing right now. Earlier, we were used to Nokia, which the phones were quite sturdy, good, but they didn't step into the smartphone industry for quite a long. When they stepped in, they came in the with the Windows phones, but then it was also a setback for them with the Lumia series that had come, because most of the apps that were made were not made for the Windows phone. They were made for the Androids. So now Nokia is coming up with the Androids because the prototypes when they were made, they got to know that these systems are not working here. So we need to go back and make the things again. Don't spend much time when you're making a prototype. Actually, I was talking about the products in the last example, but when you're making the prototypes, you need not to spend much time on it. If you're spending too much time on it, making it fancy, everything, if you want to add into it, then it won't help. Someone else would come and go ahead of you. Some other competitor would come there. Fail fast. This is a main thing you have to do while doing a prototyping. Whenever you have made a prototype, just test it, and yeah, fail. It's okay. You have still have time to go generate idea. You still have time to go make the prototype again. But make sure that if it is failing some test, it shouldn't fail the test again. Make sure. So fail fast. If you fail fast, you have more recovery time. If suppose the system fails at the end, like what had happened in case of me, that 10 minutes prior to the session, my laptop got hung. But yeah, if it would have happened like 1 hour ago, I would have made some choices that these things would be there and the session would have delayed. So fail fast. Remember the concept. So whenever you have made the concept that had failed, so remember it and try to improve on that, which is the next point. So remember that and try to improve on that. Next is the keep the user in mind. So whenever you're making a product or a prototype, so always keep the user in mind. Uh, for this, I'll be explaining about my project which I had done during my course. So I'll talk about these things there. So the type of prototype typing. One is low fidelity prototyping, wherein the prototypes are made very quick. Like if you need to show something to someone in a very quick manner, you make the prototype paper ka bana liya, cardboard ka bana liya, and then you show them that it would look like this, it would function like this. Yeah, it is okay, it is good. But then the materials and the prototype, it won't be a working thing. It is just a piece to show that how it would look. That those are low fidelity prototypes. Next is the high fidelity prototypes, wherein the prototyping are bit functional. They have certain feature that can be felt, like in this prototype, like first three they are RP, rapid prototype. They are the other thing when the color is applied, so you get to know the graphics. I don't know if this would be functional or not. If it is functional, good enough to understand how it is working. So those are high fidelity prototyping. So now we have made prototype. So what next? Next comes testing. You have to test how it works. If it doesn't work, then all the mehnat you have done would go in vain. So you have to test it before launching to the market. So testing prototype is an inherent part of finalizing the design. So once the design is to be finalized, testing is the must. Without testing, it won't be approved. Conduct test as early as prototyping stage can help you avoid the unfortunate scenarios. If the testings are done earlier, it would help to overcome them, make a different prototypes. Classic example was the Tesla car, where at the show the iron ball was thrown on the window and it failed in front of the public. If it would have had been tested earlier, it won't have been such an embarrassing situation for Elon Musk. So few things to keep in mind. So decide on what you want to test. Like if you are doing a low fidelity prototypes, you can't test on the working there. You can't test on the graphics there. You can't test on the feel there. So whenever you're making a prototype, you have to think of what you will be testing on it and prepare the test scenarios and tasks. So usually for you, the product is okay, the prototype is okay, but when uh, who will decide if it is okay or not? Those would be the customers. So many of the companies, many industries, they invite the potential customers to take a look at it, the prototypes, and on that products are developed. Simplest example is the test drive. Whenever you're going to get a car or a bike or something, you take a test drive. So there you uh, in case similar case of the prototypes, you test and do the scenarios testing there. Take feedback. So whenever someone is checking your product, he'll give you a feedback, she'll give you a feedback. So incorporate those feedback and improve the product. Because when it comes to the market, it shouldn't be a situation where the product is launched and it is not selling, because that is the main goal there. Okay, I will go on the video, which is a classic example like Hera Fairy. It is from the movie Iron Man.
Rohan, you are not audible. Rohan, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah, you got muted by mistake.
Oh, I think while switching the screens that had happened. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, this was the example wherein in the start of the movie where Tony Stark's make the iron suit. So he goes and tests at the high altitude that is there any problem that is arising, which was the icing problem that had come up. But when the villain's suit, he just picks the arc reactor from Tony Stark, he adds to the suit and he tries flying up. There, he didn't test if it would icing would be an issue, and that's where Tony Stark got an upper hand. So that's why testing is required. It might be fatal at times, so testing is required. Okay, so yeah, that's it on the design thinking side. I'll be going in the archives where I had made a product when I was in college, because sir had specifically asked if I can give some live example that I've made. Yeah, so from the archives, this is a bicycle we had made as our project. We had named it Kalki because I don't know, it was the modern day bicycle made in the Kali Yuga.
But
Okay.
it would have been appropriate had you given an English name, because in Hindi, Kal means yesterday also.
Right. So yeah, coming back to our project. So I think this was gone. Okay. So this was the feedback what we had empathized. So about 90% of working Indian population travel to their workplaces by public transport. That is apt for Mumbai, because people don't really stay near the railway stations. They have to travel, take auto rickshaw from the rickshaw stand, and they have to go and catch the trains or go back home. So there is a certain pattern they follow, like, and so this is the pattern they might take. Is from the house, take an auto, go to the bus station or a railway station, take the auto from there to the industry or the company or the work wherever they are working. So there is a pattern they are following. So introducing a foldable cycle which they can carry in public transport, which will enable to reach destination early and will also save auto rickshaw fares. This was a problem statement that we had made when the question was put forward to us that make a foldable cycle. So scenario we had decided on where it would be used. So the challenges was, I think second is gone. So we'll stick to the first one. The bicycle should look like an ordinary bicycle in open state, but should be as compact as a normal foldable cycle in a folded state. So this challenge was thrown to us by our professor, Professor Guru Murthy, quite a genius guy. Excuse me. So because in the market foldable cycles are available, if you go and check for the foldable cycles, it would be like small wheels are there. You have to pull in the handlebar to suit your height, pull in the seat to suit your height. So specifically he had mentioned that whenever the bike is in open condition, it should be it should look like an ordinary bicycle, but when it is in folded condition, it should be as compact as the folded cycle. So these were the challenges, the constraint that we were facing. So we went on to make the mechanism for that. So this is very clean, which I had made for the portfolio. So one was the telescopic mechanism wherein the center bar would go in and out.
Rohan,
Hello.
just sorry to interrupt you. We are going to have a session, one more session tomorrow today at 4:30 p.m.
Okay.
So we will. How much more time you will take for completing this?
Only 2 slides are there. So.
Oh, acha, okay, no problem. You can take 4 or 5 minutes. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So we had decided on the mechanism. Different mechanisms were made, wherein the fold and slide was there. Then double fold was there. The uh, center bar would fold in like 2, so 3 parts would come in. A direct fold from the center. So different mechanisms were decided, and we decided on to do a slider and fold mechanism, which was a combination of this one, the fold mechanism, and the telescopic mechanism, wherein the bar slides into each other. And now the form generation. So different forms were made on how it would move, because once you finalize on the mechanism, only one thing is you may have to make the cycle look good. So this was there, and this is how the model looked. Per se, I have made the model later on for my portfolio. So model in different stages, folded stages. This would go in, it would slide in, and it would fold. And this is how the rendered images look. Uh, this is still the stage where I had put into the portfolio, but for the presentation, I am just giving out how it looked when we made the prototype. This was my partner. Yeah, this is how the prototype looked. It Because the prototypes doesn't need to be very clean. The mechanism should work, everything should work. But I would say it failed because the testing we did on someone who was 90 kgs. The cycle did function, he could ride it, but when someone as huge as our professor, he sat, uh, the mechanism here, which was a weld, it broke. So yeah, if it would have been on the cycle, and if he was riding on the road, that would have been fatal. But yeah, we got praises for actually incorporating the mechanism, and in folded state it actually was uh, having the same size, almost the same size as the normal foldable cycle that you get in the market. So I thought of giving this as an example wherein prototyping was there, testing was there. Yeah, so that's what it is from my side.
Can you actually take the blame for having the prototype broken?
As in, because this I it
As a
was not
product
about
designer, yeah, as a product designer, I think it is mechanical engineer's fault.
not even the mechanical engineers. I can say it was the fault of the fabricator
Okay.
who who didn't do it properly. But then it was on us as well, because we didn't test it to the upper around 70 kgs then, and we thought of testing to an. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
No, there was a disturbance because we had tested it on someone who was 90 kgs, but then when our professor he sat, he is around 6'3", and he's very huge guy. So yeah, the mechanism failed. Not the mechanism, but the welding failed there.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if you are done, I'll just ask the participants if they have any questions.
right.
Looks like, you have explained everything with examples, so no questions as of now. So, no, yeah, it was indeed a very interesting session, Rohan.
Thank you, sir.
You have very explicitly and very awesome session. These are the comments. Thank you. Awesome
Thank you.
session.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So, indeed, you have in-depth explained with numerous examples wherever possible the 5 stages of design thinking to all of us. And it was actually a session which was indeed out of box in all sense. We could watch a movie, a couple of movie clips, and we saw a presentation which is presented in totally different manners than seeing, equations in a finite element method session. Therefore, indeed, you brought that difference and all of us enjoyed. They are saying that it was an interactive session, very interesting, and so
I
on. So,
I
yeah,
just missed talking to people because the responses were coming from through you, via you. So
I don't
maybe
know why they they don't want to speak, but there is an interesting comment from one Dr. M.V. Kishore, that it was very thought provoking. Indeed, it was, and I must tell you that you didn't allow us to sleep after our heavy lunch. So you have done
thank
your
you,
job
sir.
very nicely.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. Thank you so much.
and it didn't actually show that these differences, computer savviness and the fashion in which the presentation can be made, but it also showed the difference of generation uh, making the presentations. Most of the presenters as of now were middle aged, some of them were senior people. Therefore, it made a lot of difference, and I'm sure it was fun for all the participants who are attending the session. I am only feeling bad that we could not see you, but the audio with which actually you delivered the session was extremely clear, and I'm sure it has made up for your video. So, with this, comments, I thank you, Rohan, for sparing your valuable time. I know that industries do not like to spare their people so easily for work like this, but whenever we have, inputs as teachers, as students, from people like you, it helps indirectly the students, because student tomorrow we will share our these thoughts in different contexts with our students, and they are finally going to benefit. And it may so happen that someone who has heard these things indirectly through me or through somebody else would join in with you as your colleague. That can become a possibility. So it will be finally benefiting the organization. So with
Right.
these comments, I thank you once again, and wish you a good luck for your long career, and take your leave.
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being attentive and being like giving out your replies whenever was required, whenever I had asked for. Maybe it was via through Sachin sir, but then it was still an interactive session there. Thank you so much for being attentive. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hello, sir. Rohan, sir.
Hello, Deepak. Hi.
Sir, please provide your contact or email ID so that
Right. You can actually. It is
I'll
Rohan.
do that. I'll contact through. Okay, Rohan, if you want to give it now, do that.
Right. I can give my email ID, which is rohan.m.more@gmail.com. So you can contact me there. And if anything else is required, you can always connect via Sachin sir. So if any issues, if you are facing anything, I'm already there to help you out.
Thank you, Rohan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Good day.
Good day. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.